Number 33 in the periodic table is arsenic. The atomic symbol for arsenic is As. Arsenic is a highly poisonous metallic element. It is commonly found as a brittle steel-gray crystal in solid that tarnishes quickly on air and smells garlic when heated. Arsenic is classified as a metalloid and it lies in the periodic table's fourth row or 4. Each atom of arsenic consists of a cloud of electrons surrounding compact of nucleus that contains almost all the atom's mass. In the most common form of arsenic, its nucleus has 33 positively charged protons plus 42 uncharged neutrons. Arsenic has 33 negatively charged electrons to balance its 33 protons. These electrons are found 4 orbital shells surrounding the nucleus, which can be visualized as being built up from the near preceding noble gas argon. Argon has 18 electrons distributed among 3 orbital shells. Arsenic has 15 more electrons than argon. The first 2 electrons are found in sphere-shaped 4s orbital shell. The next 10 electrons to 5 clover-shaped 3d orbitals, and the final 3 electrons are distributed among the 3 lobe-shaped from form 4p orbitals. Since electrons in the 3d orbitals are at the lower energy than those 4s and 4p orbitals, only the 5 dwelling electrons in the 4th level shall influence how arsenic interacts other elements. Arsenic is stable in dry air, but the surface oxidizes slowly in moist air to produce dark covering over the element. Arsenic and its compound are very poisonous, and contact with the skin can cause skin cancer. So arsenic must be handled extremely carefully with gloves.
In this experiment, arsenic is placed in the 30% solution of hydrogen peroxide. The arsenic reacts by bubbling and fizzing, and the dark oxide layer is dissolved, revealing to the silvery pure element beneath. Arsenic is a deadly poison that can also cause cancer. It is primarily used to make insecticides, and small amounts of arsenic can be added to metal alloys to help make them stronger. Arsenic is also used in manufactures of mirrors, glass, LED lights, lasers, and semiconductors. In 1991, an extraordinary archaeological discovery occurred in Les Alpes, in the border of Austria and Italy. There in the snow of the mountain pass were the remains of the man who lived 5,000 years ago. He was the oldest frozen mummy ever found. Scientists called him Ötzi. By carefully examining his body and the items found with it, the researchers are pieced together glimpses into the Iceman's past. One of Ötzi's possession was the axe. The axe stunned scientists. The form discovery, they thought tools had not been invented until 500 years after the Iceman's past. This axe has made greater impact than any other item found with the body, and the researchers from Oxford University believes examples of the Iceman's hair and the element that contains suggested he has skills to make such a tool. We found copper pedicellin on the surface, and we sliced the hair. We found copper. It was indeed looks like quite strongly on the surface and the hair, and we also found arsenic, which is unusual and that's not found in a normal human hair. To detection of minutes of ours and the instrument you don't usually see any arsenic.
So Otzi's hair was covered in copper and dangerously high levels of arsenic. But how did the arsenic get into his hair? Perhaps after the Iceman died, he and his belongings were contaminated by elements in the soil around them. So the Oxford team carried out the same test on deer hair found on some of the artifacts. I guess, seemed like that structurally deer hair, some human hairs similar than any containers on then look the environment will be subsequently the deer and the human hair. But in fact, we found so the deer hair was contained relatively small levels of cocoa known as arsenic. These unusually high cocoa levels for natural contamination. You have to be buried out full couple of miles or something to obtain copper levels like this. So the Iceman must had been exposed to copper and arsenic while he was alive for his hair to have absorbed them. This would be the case if the Iceman had been involved in making copper objects such as his axe. Copper can be extracted malachite, a green stone that contains copper ore, but much of the malachite in this part of the world also contains arsenic. Early tool makers crushed malachite and smelted it to produce their copper, but this process also released arsenic vapor as a tool makers that they would be exposed a high level of arsenic just like those found on Otzi's hair. So scientific evidence seems to indicate that the Iceman spent at least some of these days making copper tools. This knowledge gives modern researchers a glimpse into how Otzi lived 5,000 years ago, and it was provided by the deadly element arsenic.